The lesson.
Oh yeah.
I guess one of the things that makes hip hop, unique is the competitive nature in rap. And obviously one of the things that comes from that is, beef, people not getting along, people saying shit on record, and it just, escalating. In hip hop, in that 90s period particular, there's been a shitload of like classic, hip hop beefs. I guess in your opinion, what were some of your favorite hip hop beefs that were on wax? Favorite
Hyro and what you call him, and Saphir. Shit. Actually, M and Royce had gotten into it for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
M, and I would say Royce and D2 and Shady got into it. Oh man, I mean Nas, Jay-Z, probably the ultimate.
Who do you think won that?
I think everybody. I think Jay had mentioned that Nas won that, right?
Everyone's got different opinions, man.
I think Jay-Z even said that he felt like Nas won. I'll go with what Jay-Z thinks. Yeah.
In terms the Saphir Hyro one,
mm-hmm.
I'd never actually heard about that. What was there a backstory obviously behind?
I don't know, man. But that's the legend of Saphir is he basically went in and battled the whole crew. I mean, they're all friends. It's all love now, and they had been homies before, but they got into it, and that's what made Saphir legendary. Because he's from up north, NorCal, but that beef made him legendary in like L.A. and New York. So yeah, I don't know. He went in. Like I don't know. He just sometimes I call it rap fever. It's just you can do no wrong. He was in his zone. He got busy. Like they went at it, but he just he killed it. Actually, Mr. Fab when him and Royce battled, that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in terms of disjoints, any particular standout ones for you? I mean, for me,
there's so many. Karis One's a master of battler.
The shit with MC Shan and Juice.
The bridge is over. Well, yeah, that is MC Shan. He kind of took on a whole city, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because Karis One, he could do that. There's some amazing ones.
No Vaseline.
Incredible.
That's my pick.
I love No Vaseline, but I really feel like, honestly, I liked NWAs. They had what was it? I think it was called Real Niggas.
Oh, Real Motherfucking J's. That was the...
Well, not
that
that
one?
You're talking about BG and Naki. That's the homies, too. I mean, most of these people I'm either fans or some people I have some relationship with. So I'm not, not necessarily am I picking sides. But just from a lyrical standpoint, no. NWA had one. I didn't know them. I was a kid. But they have... it was the Niggas for Life album, but I think they had a song, Real Niggas. Niggas Ren was going in. Oh man. And it was around that same time, so it was Cube versus NWA, but he went in. I think Ren was saying some shit. Yeah, you should listen to that one. It's just crazy. Cool J. Come on, man. He's original.
That shit that he had with Cannabis.
That's not the one for me. For me, when he dissed, it's called Break of Dawn. So Break of Dawn, he dissed 3 rappers, and each got a verse. He dissed Ice-T, he dissed Hammer, and somebody else. and I've stolen his line many of times. What is a panther? An animal that kills. I'm like a shark with blood coming out the gills. There's no way in your wildest dreams that you could ever get a taste of this lean straight from Queens. Oh man! And then he just homeboy, hold on, my songs are so strong. Oh man, oh, it's so horrible. Break of Dawn was the first. He just went through and bought like Kumo D, Ice T, and got the nerve to have them Star Trek shades on. He talking about Kumo D. He called Ice T a fucking
Raccoon.
yeah, little hip hop raccoon.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then he said the shit about Panther. That hammer swinging that actor's swinging a hammer from a body bag. Oh man, he was homeboy. Hold on, my rhymes are so strong. Yeah, he was just whatever. That shit's crazy. I always took the shark because it was so visual. Shark with blood coming out the gills. I was like, yo, I'm always doing the animal shit with the meat coming out my out my talons or whatever. Like that shit. He created. That's the first time I ever heard somebody with such a predatorial fucking visceral description of who you were on a mic or whatever. I stole that shit from Cool J. That shit's hard. And oh yeah, of course, Pac and Biggie, because they were having it was just I happen to be in at that point. I'm in the game. I'm not them, but I'm acquainted with Pac and his family is my my homies. Hit him up is hilarious because he goes in and he's like, you know what? I'm done with you. I'm gonna let my homies, little niggas, get you. You just sometimes the preparation of like the art of war or the war of art is actually what I want to make that song. The war of art is hilarious. So watching somebody, M's great, man. M's he will bait you into these little fucking situations, and then he'll body you, and he says hilarious shit in the bodies. DMX versus Corrupt, hilarious. And that was a personal thing. So DMX was talking, doing personal. See, a lot of these songs and I don't mean this in any negative way, but a lot of the shit is so personal. You guys really don't know the impact of what people are saying. So I know the backstory between DMX and Corrupt, and then he's like, "You whack, everybody know your girl's a hoe, and everybody know. I love my baby mama. I never let her go." Like those are jabs. Like dudes are talking about specific situations, and then Corrupt comes back like motherfuck D, motherfuck M. Only X I know is Exhibit and RBX. Like motherfuckers was good. So motherfuckers was warned. That art of war, that bar shit, because a lot of people forget that in this journey, whether somebody's the superstar dude or the dude you never heard of, they probably know each other. Doesn't matter what the outsiders think. You may be a fan of blah, blah, blah because he did a song with Cher, and this other dude is just as good or better than dude. He just didn't get the breaks, and now they're going at it, and it's just a war. So, yeah, with the DMX shit was always funny to me. Pac, what you don't want is the violent shit and all that. But I'm on the song where Chino mentions Tupac. So I'm thinking when this song comes out, I'm already like, fuck, I'm fucked. I'm like, I'm fucked, bro. I didn't approve of it. I didn't say like, yeah, you should say that line, that Tupac line. I'm like, I literally was not happy about it. I'm like, bro, I don't like that line. I literally said that. You know what I mean? But kind of guilty by association. So when Machiavelli comes out, Outlaws come up to me. It was show because it was Outkast, Outlaws, Ras Kass. We all had this show together. This is before I just came from Atlanta, and people had the bootleg of Machiavelli. I didn't really want to hear it. Pac's still alive. The album's about to come out, and the Outlaws and Thug Life rated R on them. Those are people I knew in the, like in L.A., just in the streets and kid with dreams. So I was always proud of them. So before Pac even got with Suge and all that shit, he was Thug Life, and they were all from the same neighborhood Nipsey hustled from, rolling 60s. So long story short, they tell me like, oh, Exhibit and dissed your homeboy. I mean, Pac done dissed Exhibit. I'm just telling you, it's coming out soon, 2 weeks. I'm like, man, fuck, bro. Like, I'm like, fuck. I'm like, if he just Exhibit, I'm doomed. Because I'm on the song with Chino. So I know I'm finna. I'm like, fuck, man. And I got so much love, and just as a fan of him, I'm like, dude, I didn't do it, but I could see how he would want to let me, I'm guilty by so. It's not like a posse cut. It's just me and Chino. And Chino say the shit, and he's going after. So when I hear hit him up or bomb first for one, I'm like, okay, that's the Exhibit shit. Got something for that nigga that made paparazzi. If you ain't in this game for the motherfucking fame, then what is your motherfucking purpose? Non-service. So I'm like, whew. Then hit him up comes. I'm like, man, he's shitting on Mob Deep. He's fuck Chino Excel, fuck this. So I'm like, I'm just waiting for Ras Kass. I'm waiting for the. I'm like, oh man, oh shit. And then the song was off, and I was like, what? I like played it again. I was like, and I was like calling people like, man, tell Pac thanks, bro. Like, because I'm a fan. I'm still a fan. And we had, I felt like he passed me out. Like he gave me a pass because he knew my folks and I knew his folks, and I think he knew I didn't, I mean, it's a line, I won't even repeat what Chino said in the line. I love Chino to death too. But then some things can be personal and people don't like it, they get offended, and then words. So they're exchanging words or whatever. I just didn't want him not to like me because I didn't do anything. Yeah. But I'm like, shit, if he already throwing, if he's shooting that Exhibit for kind of saying something, and I know what Chino said, and I'm on the song, I am doomed by association. I'm a double fuck you. You know what I mean? And yeah, man, that's one of my fucking, may he rest in peace, and just intent of the heart. You know what I mean? I'm glad he did. Thanks for not dissing me, man. Because I don't know. I'm a fan still. Like I'm a Biggie fan too. But I was really close to the crosshairs of that particular one, and he didn't shoot at me. So that's probably, it ain't my favorite beef because those people ended up dead, but it is interesting knowing the backstory. Same thing once again with Nas. Ether is a very clinically mean record. It's anybody could say fuck you or I'll slap you, I'll beat you up later. Those are threats. But when people start like pulling you apart, dissecting you, there's things that even I don't know that go over my head. But the things that I do know are so personally fucked up. That's how bad the record is. Like when I heard the record, I was like, wow, that's fucked up. It's just it's a mean-spirited record. And Jay-Z's on top of the world, and I get it. But, I mean, just if you just understand a fundamental thing, he said you went from Sean Carter to Jay-Z. Damn you on Jazz Dick. That in and of itself is, there's a dude, Jazzo, that's who Jay-Z rapped with. His name is not Jeremy Synagogue or whatever. His name is Sean Carter. So where would you get a Jay-Z from if that's a whole 180 from your whole individuality as a human being, and nobody's called you on it? Like, you are another guy. Your entire career is predicated on another man. Like, he fucked him off with that. It's a horrible bar. It's a mean-spirited thing to say to somebody. And then there's the other parts of it saying, well, do you still, do you look out for Jazzo? Is Jazzo, you understand what I'm saying? It just implies a lot. like you took a lot, but what did you give back? Like that's what I'm talking about. These bars can hurt, man. And so when people know each other, that's when Eminem, can a bitch? Like he's just playing, like it's just fucked up because he's just literally no, and he's like kind of having fun with it. It's like, and that's the whole thing about these battle raps is that if you get into it with somebody like Pac is the only person that could come off angry and it still worked because it's almost like a comedian. Like the first one that gets mad is the loser.
Yeah.
The comedian is supposed to still be laughing and saying these hurtful things that are still kind of funny. And so, yeah, those are, those are always the illest ones. Like those, there's so many good ones, but those are some standouts to me, those lines, those particular ones.
The last sentence.
Oh, yeah.